Everybody, conga bonga, conga bonga, conga conga. Around the world, conga bonga. You've got the flow, conga bonga. Let love shine and love forever. Love and joy, we come together. You've got chocolate on your lips. You've got chocolate on your cheeks. You've got chocolate in your bag. You've got chocolate in your sweat. Archipelago, where the dolphins go. Archipelago and the hummingbird. La 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 la. Diddly diddly diddly. Conga 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 conga.
Hello, and welcome to Auditions 5 of AGT Time. Cody Patterson here along with
Jay Bach. We've got, I think, one or two more episodes of Auditions. It seemed like there was some confusion about that. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do with these live events.
so we know we have at least one more auditions, and from the preview that we saw for next week for audition 6, there's going to be no audience.
Right.
Yes. So I think all the judges are back. There's no audience. And then I think we go into judge cuts at that point. And I'm hearing inklings that they're doing judge cuts. They're going to televise judge cuts as normal, but no audience for judge cuts. I think we'll know more about that for sure within the next week or so. But from what I understand, it's going to happen with no audience. But judge cuts is still pre-recorded.
Okay.
We won't get a live show for another few
Okay.
weeks. So we'll get a live show sometime in the middle of July. And then we'll really see what's going to happen. But I'm anticipating no audience for live shows.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking the same. It's certainly going to be a very different feel this year, but it's not like we're going to pretend that there is no coronavirus pandemic. So
No, we're still we're still seeing what's going on with AGT from probably March or early April,
right.
what they were doing back then. So they're catching up to real time as we watch each week.
Yep. That seems to be the case. So we will know more soon, it seems. But I guess in the meantime, we've got a handful of acts to talk about tonight. Seemed like a pretty straightforward episode. Nothing particularly weird or funny or, ulcer-inducing.
Yeah, just from the overall look, it seemed like a very middle of the road type episode. Yeah, like you said, there was nothing spectacular, but also nothing terrible. It was very, very average this week.
And no golden buzzer tonight.
And no golden buzzer. I'm wondering, we've seen Simon's golden buzzer, and we've seen Sophia's golden buzzer, and
Yep.
we've seen Terry's golden buzzer.
And Heidi's, right?
And Heidi's. Okay, so Howie has not done his golden buzzer yet.
Yeah, Heidi's was Christina Ray.
Okay.
Back in Auditions 3. You remember Christina. She's a singer from Nashville, like
Yes.
many of the singers this season.
Yes, we've seen another singer from Nashville this week. So they seem to have done a lot of recruiting in Nashville this year.
Yeah, something funny going on there. So all right, well, I guess let's take care of the business like we do, and then we'll talk about some acts. We've got a number of ways you can reach out to us. You can join our Facebook group. It's AGT Cast, or email us agtcast@gmail.com, or it's AGT Time on Twitter @AGT Time. Of course, you can reach out directly to Cody L. Patterson or @OneManBander. And we're also, you can PayPal us through the agtcast@gmail account. I think that's all the various ways you can reach out to us.
Yeah, it's very, very quick business, very straightforward from Jay there. Good job.
All
Jay.
right. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Any interaction with fans of America's Got Talent. If you've got thoughts or comments that you want to share with us, we really are interested to know what you have to say. And I think expanding the conversation beyond what just Cody and I have to say is healthy and good for all of us. So if you've got something, share it with us.
Yeah, and with the way things have been the last few months, I've been working from home, so it's given me a little more time to watch AGT, and I've been watching it in real time this year rather than through Hulu like I've done in years past. And I've been on there live tweeting, and it's been a lot of fun live tweeting with the other live tweeters out there. Watching the comments and getting the replies. It's been a much more interactive event for me this year to be actually like their live tweeting. It feels a lot more fun and more social doing it when everyone else is watching the show live.
Yeah, social. I forgot what that feels like.
Right. It's still a virtual thing, but we're distancing ourselves virtually with the rest of the AGT fandom out there. So um, we still get to socialize with all of them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's good. The show starts before the kids are in bed and it ends after the kids are in bed. So I have been time shifting just a little bit. I'm still watching it on Tuesday nights, but not until I can sit down and give it my full attention. So that's been my strategy. But yeah, I guess with that, our first act of Tuesday night was little Annie Jones, a 12-year-old from Australia. She sings a song, Dance Monkey by Tones and Eyes. Are you familiar with the song Dance Monkey?
I'm not familiar with Dance Monkey. I think there used to be a song, Funky Monkey? Was that a song?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah.
Brass Monkey? I don't know,
Brass
yeah.
Monkey. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got some talent, some soul, but ultimately not a particularly memorable act for me. She was another tween singer that just didn't wow me more than any other singer I've seen on the season so far. Thoughts on Annie?
No, not a whole lot. I mean, she was good, but she seemed very average. She was a lot of fun to listen to. I love the Australian accent. It's wonderful that she was able to fly 16 hours. I think we got another Australian here, so
Yes.
they were able to get all the Australians in this week's performance. But so she was a lot of fun, but nothing from her really stuck out to me compared to other singers we've seen.
Yeah. And I, didn't have any emotional connection to the song. She didn't have a video package, so there was no, appeal from that side of thing. Like it just was a quick kickoff to the episode, and here you go. Sophia said, "I thought you were so confident. I think this is what you're meant to do in your life." Howie said, "You are a beautiful little dance monkey. You're a great performer. You sound great. You're a star." Simon said, "I can tell how much you love that song. Your confidence is amazing." So 3 yeses from the 3 judges while Heidi's still out sick. Um, I can't say that I would have put her through myself, but certainly not deserving of an X. Like I wasn't booing her off the stage.
No, I would have just said, I think you're a good singer. You seem to have some talent, but there was nothing about you that really stuck out to me. Nothing spectacular. I don't. I would just kind of give her that information that you can sing, you have the talent to sing, but we're looking for more from our singers on AGT.
Yeah, yeah. If like we keep going back to, this is the biggest stage there is, the biggest stage, the biggest talent show, and a pretty straightforward song just doesn't really not going to win the season.
Yeah,
I feel so.
yeah. I don't feel like this is $1 million act, as I
But
think Howie would say.
I have also underestimated singers in the past and thought that they should have been eliminated long before they were. So, sometimes my judge of what people are really going to love and what they're really going to appreciate, what they're going to want to vote through, is a little off. So I've been known to fail in the past on this.
Yeah, if I were to put her up against some of the other singers that we've seen this year, especially one that we're going to see here or talk about here in a little bit, if you look at the individual singers, what Archie Williams and Thomas Day, I thought he's very average. Kelvin Dukes, Roberta,
Yeah.
Roberta. and Barbara she was eliminated. We don't count her. Danilia. A lot of people are saying Danilia is kind of the favorite singer going into the competition. So if you just and Selena, if you kind of look at some of the other singers, there was just nothing that stuck out to me compared to the other singers that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There just wasn't a whole lot there to make her stand
Yep.
above the fray. So,
Yep.
that is little Annie. So,
Not an orphan.
no,
No, her whole family was there from Australia.
little Annie Jones from Australia. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Next act of the night is a stand-up comedian, Ty Barnett. I know you love a good comedian. Again, we didn't get an intro package. They just kind of jumped into him coming on stage. They said, "How old are you?" He said, "I'm in my 40s."
It's kind of vague.
Yeah. He told us that he was a pharmacist, had to make money to, as a dad, but he dropped the pharmacy job and now tells jokes for a living. So, says, I'm the kind of guy, I will defend a lady's honor. But understand that level of defense depends on the size of the person I'm defending you against. So, he had some funny other things. He said, I can tell I'm getting older. I could tell when I started rooting against the kids in the scary movies. Now I'm like, your mom and dad told you not to leave the house. So, that's something a dad would say.
Yeah.
So I thought pretty relatable stuff, pretty funny. Not the funniest comedian we've seen, but really solid material. Stuff I
Yeah.
hadn't heard before. I look forward to seeing what else he has. What'd you think of Ty?
Yeah, I think solid is probably the right word for it. He told every joke. He hit every step. He had good punchlines. He didn't mess up at 3/4 of the way through.
Mm.
He wasn't one of the funniest comedians we've seen, but you're right. He was solid. He was consistent. I did like his jokes. I did laugh at a few of the jokes, so I enjoyed him. He said he gets his inspiration from Richard Pryor. You look around the room and there's all different kinds of people, and if you can make all those different kinds of people laugh, you've done a good job. So you can kind of respect that you're not targeting one specific audience. You're trying to, make the entire room laugh, which I can respect. So he gets respect. He doesn't get no respect. Uh, so yeah, so I like Ty. If we're kind of looking at him compared to some of the other comedians, he's probably in the third or fourth tier when it comes to the comedians. I think he can get better. He seems to have the material. You give him a little bit more time, I think he can get there.
Yeah, I agree that comedians do their best when they have time to really showcase, an entire set of jokes. That's kind of how it's designed to be, is minutes upon minutes for them to be able to take you along on their story, on their joke telling set. And like we always talk about, referencing back to the things that you said, the jokes that you made, that's important, and it's really hard to do. Simon said, I really, really felt the whole routine was just so funny. Sophia said, I enjoyed your performance. And even Simon was laughing. Your material was relatable. And Howie said, this entire audience, we all loved you. So 3 yeses from the 3 judges again. He's going through to the judge cuts. But I really do look forward to seeing him. Something we haven't talked about, especially for some of these acts, like a singer can sing in front of an empty room, but a comedian doing comedy in front of an empty room is a real difficult row to hoe.
Yes, and if you look back at some of the previous seasons of AGT where they would have judge cuts with no audience, it was really hard on comedians. And Howie's we're probably going to hear it several times during judge cuts about how not performing to an audience is really going to hurt them, and they're going to struggle a little bit because they feed off of that. They feed off of the audience interaction to kind of go into the next joke. Maybe they pause for a little bit for for a moment to get that laugh. So it's going to be interesting to see what these comedians do, and even some of the other acts. Magicians are kind of the same way, where they need that audience ooh and ah reaction. Whereas singers, they're just going to sing. They're used to singing on their own anyway. Um, so
Yeah, singing
they
into a mic with a backing track is way different. So
yes, yes,
uh, it will be interesting to see how comedians and some of these other acts do in that empty room, and then into live shows as well. Like, is
yes.
America gonna be able to vote for a comedian if there's no laugh track?
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
really hard. That's
yeah,
really hard.
and I know in previous seasons with Judge Cuts, it was usually just a small space. This is gonna, if I'm, if they're gonna do it in the full size auditorium, that's a big empty space.
Oh man, yes it
So
is. Yes it
yeah,
is. All right. Next act of the night is a young gentleman named Forrest Nee. He is going to do a song. He's going to add to the backing track with the snapping of his fingers.
yes.
The song that he snaps to is "Hall of the Mountain King." Are you familiar with "Hall of the Mountain King"?
I think I've heard it a few times. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Pretty popular, just sort
yeah.
of a classic tune that people know. um I know this song from before high school, but in high school I was selecting a song to do as a tuba solo, and this was one of the options that I had. It was a fairly easy song, so I ended up picking something a little more difficult. But I don't remember what I chose. I do remember passing up on Hall of the Mountain King, though. So uh, uh, he chose a memorable song
Yes.
in some ways. It's the bum 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 bum, and he's gonna snap along with it. So um, it, I enjoyed this. It was different. It was weird. He's a very talented snapper, all things
Yes.
considered.
He's
Um,
very snappy.
the um, the talent of being a good snapper is just not enough for the judges, though.
Yeah.
They said that's enough, thanks.
Yeah. So it got me thinking a little bit when he came on, and when an act comes on the stage and the judge says, "Well, what are you going to do?" and they just say, "Well, I do what I do," or "I'm going to do something," or
I'm a
they're very
performer. I'm
vague.
an entertainer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they're very vague, then it starts being like, well, should we start worrying about this? I mean, when they don't come out and actually say, "Hey, I'm going to snap my fingers for you" to a song, um, it starts to make you wonder, okay, what are we into now? I know they're trying to be a little mysterious and add the
Right.
suspense to it a little bit, but at the same time, we've seen enough of these that it's almost to the point where we know it now. It's going to be weird and different.
Yeah, yeah. And he looked good. He had a blue tux with the black lapels and bow tie, and he was all razzle dazzled up. He looked good. Just
He looked very snappy, Jay.
he was dressed very snappy.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Um, I have little to complain about with this act, other than he's a long ways away from being a finalist kind of act. Maybe we'll see him if they bring in all the rejected acts for one of those big specials. Maybe he'll
Yes.
he'll be
Yes.
alongside doing the snappy.
The two-handed snap, though, that is a special talent. That's hard to do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The two-handed snap.
Right. And did he maybe have like the ring finger and the middle finger going in the snaps, like a
I
double thing going?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't notice.
All right. Well, I might have to go
Yeah.
back and slow it down. We'll see. But
Okay. Put it
I,
on
I
the high
think
speed.
we may have already talked more about Forrest Nee than we than we need to.
Put him on the high speed cam and let's take a look.
You know what we could do is just stop talking about the acts going through and just spend our hour talking about the rejected acts. Maybe
Yeah,
that's where
we seem to
maybe
have
that's
more
our niche.
material on our eliminated acts than we do on the acts that go through. So
All right, all right. Snappy Forest Me. He made me smile a little.
yeah.
That was Forrest. Okay, next act of the night then was Shakira McGrath. She is a singer from Kennesaw, Georgia. Loves to sing, but has been told that she's a little too fat or a little too short by people who judge people. And Simon says people who judge people for the wrong reasons are idiots.
Yes.
Um, so Were you familiar with the song that she sang? Was it Redneck Woman?
Redneck Woman by Gretchen Wilson, I believe.
What I had by, yeah, by Gretchen Wilson. Were you familiar
Yes,
with the song Redneck Woman?
I am familiar with this song. Yes,
Okay.
I've heard it a time or two.
All right.
Yeah.
I actually, not listening to country music much, not, I believe I've heard this song once or twice, but like literally once or twice, not
Yeah.
tongue in cheek once or twice. So,
Yeah, I think any sporting event or maybe local concert or some sort of outdoor event or whatever, this song usually comes on a couple of times.
yeah, I can believe
So,
that. Yeah, when I listen, um, my taste tends to lean a little more Western than country,
okay.
think like singing cowboy and less, Martina McBride, maybe.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and this is more modern country, more 2000s country, uh, and I'm a bigger fan of more like 90s and 80s country. So this is not on my regular playlist, but if I'm out and about, I may hear the song playing somewhere.
okay. All right. Well, Shakira, she does the song justice. It's not often you see an African American, a black person singing country music, but she really, I think, does great. I enjoyed
Oh
listening
yeah,
to her. Um,
it felt like she added a little bit of soul to it as well. So it
yeah,
wasn't just straight country; she added a little soul to it too.
yeah, yeah. Sophia said, "I'm not an expert on music, but I know what I like, and I loved this."
Yeah.
Simon said, "You have a great, great voice, a great personality. I think this is just the beginning for you." Howie said, "Tonight you popped that cork and crushed it." So, high praise from the judges, 3 yeses from them. I could see this going through. I'm uh, pleased with the performance, happy with the act. um, it's nice to have a little variety in the kind of music that we get, the kind of singers that we have.
Hmm.
Pop singers, country singers, opera singers. I think a variety keeps the show feeling uh, like it's not just repeating itself, or it's just keeps it fresh every episode.
Yeah, I've said many times that I'm not big on the singers, but I felt she was one of the ones that I've enjoyed the most this season.
All right. Yeah.
So
um okay, so she's going through. We'll see you in Vegas, Shakira. Okay, now we take a quick break, and we're going to introduce Eric Stone Street. I
did you binge
uh,
watch
I
Modern Family in the
I
last week, Jay?
didn't get that done. I'm sorry. Uh, but Eric played the part of Sophia's husband, I believe, on Modern Family, right?
That is incorrect. That is
Oh, okay,
incorrect.
okay,
So
all right.
Sophia's husband was Al Bundy from Married with Children.
All right, okay.
So that's the kind of the whole that's the whole dynamic of the show is Sophia, this young attractive woman from Colombia, is married to an older man that has grown up children of his own. Eric Stone Street plays a um, gay gentleman that's also in a relationship with another gay gentleman, and then they adopt a little girl, a baby girl, and raise her. And then you have the more traditional family with Ty Burrell and I can't remember her name, who then have 3 children of their own. So that's kind of the quote modern family, is that you have these different types of families with the different aged marriage, as well as the same sex marriage, and then a traditional marriage.
Oh, wow. So are
So
they like all neighbors then, or what's their relationship to each
they're
other?
they're all related. So I keep calling him Al Bundy, and I'm trying to remember his name, but he's kind of the matriarch of the family, and he's related to Gloria, Sophia's
Patriarch, yeah.
the
Okay.
patriarch. I'm sorry, you're right, the patriarch. I'm sorry, he's the patriarch of the family, who's married to Gloria, Sophia Vergara's character, and then Ty Burrell's wife is his daughter, and then Cam's partner is his son.
Okay. All right.
So Cam, Eric Stone Street's character, is kind of his son-in-law, and then Ty Burrell is his son-in-law as well. And then Ty Burrell and his wife have their 3 children.
Okay. Yeah. So like you said, a variety of different kinds
Yes.
of families, different kinds of yeah, but it all makes up one big happy family, I
It
suppose.
makes
With
up
the
one big happy family. It's a fantastic show that went for a really long time.
yeah.
Won numerous awards. Very, very, very funny. Highly, highly recommended show.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see if maybe I get that binged before next week then. All right. So Eric Stone Street, the first act that he's going to judge is a group of 14 to 19-year-old boys called Extreme Dance Force. Nine young gentlemen make up this dance troupe. They start by dancing to Usher's "Let Me See." They seem to move pretty in sync. They then do the song switches to "Tiptoe" by Jason Derulo. Um, they did a couple of different backflips, and they were pretty in sync, and that's about all I have to say about them.
Yeah.
At the end of it, Eric leaned over to Howie and said, "I don't feel compelled to stand up for that," and Howie said, "I don't either." So Sophia and Simon were standing up for it. Kind of split judges here. What were you thinking of Extreme Dance Force?
So I think in their initial package, they said that they wanted to be like the Jabberwockies. So if you remember
Yes.
the Jabberwockies from early AGT, what season
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, something around in there?
I want to say two.
Yeah.
Could be
So
three.
yeah, so yeah, it's kind of set the standard for these dance crews. Still doing very, very, very well today. And then they had X-Men on their jackets that they were
Yep.
wearing, and I don't feel A, they lived up to the Jabberwockies, and B, I don't think that they're very good X-Men. So
Yeah, they were really uh, underwhelming.
it, it was very, very average. They were very technical. There were some slip ups. I think Howie said it was disjointed. There were some mistakes. Simon then even said, "Oh, I don't care if you make mistakes." Well, no, Simon, we do care if they make mistakes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we actually do care that you make mistake if we do make mistakes, because we don't want dance crews on here that are sloppy, disjointed, and making mistakes.
they weren't the biggest, they weren't the fastest, they weren't the most dangerous, they weren't
No,
the most in sync, they weren't the most anything. They were
yeah,
just like really kind of another dance crew.
yes,
Uh, Very much how I felt about Annie Jones. Like, eh, meh,
yeah.
whatever.
It
It's
didn't feel
fine.
very it didn't feel very extreme, and there was no force behind it.
So it would be like a moderate, uh, temperate pressure. Like I don't.
You, you've got someone coming down the stairs.
Oh boy, we'll ignore him. Um, all right, yeah, moderate pressure uh, movements. I don't
Yeah,
know what to call it there. Not memorable is what I had to say about them. So Um, Sophia said, "You looked amazing up there." Howie said, "I think you have a great future, but I don't think this was great. Parts were sloppy." Simon said, "I absolutely disagree. I don't care if you make a few mistakes. You've shown us what you're capable of." Eric said, "I'm in between Howie and Simon. I love your ambition, but it seemed a little disjointed for my taste. I thought it was okay." And then Simon said, "Can you guys sing as well? Do you know how happy I'd be if you guys could sing?" Um, uh, Man, what a uh, I don't know. I don't expect them to sing. If they do start singing, they're going to go the way of Sandow Russian Bar. Like it's, I don't think it's going to improve their act.
yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stick with what you know. Don't start playing the piano upside down. Please don't do that. Um, so if you're did we put them through?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
uh, they they talked Eric into
I think
giving
Eric. Yeah, that's right.
his
The
first yes.
audience, the audience talked him into give him the yes. So,
Yep.
so yeah, in judge cuts, I don't expect a whole lot unless they really fine tune this act and polish it over the couple of months that they have between, or maybe not even just a few weeks between auditions and judge cuts. Um, if they don't, then I don't expect them to make it past judge
But
cuts.
it's not just polish. Like they need to be polished and bigger and
Yes.
higher and stronger and fast. Like it's I don't see how they can get themselves to a point where I'm going to be amazed enough by this group to really think that they're going to be something I want to see again.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, man, I'm really kind of down tonight. Apparently, huh?
Well, I don't think it was just you that's down. I mean, Howie seemed like he was down on everything as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was just something in the air with these particular sets of acts, because everyone seemed kind of down.
Yeah.
The whole judge panel seemed a little disjointed.
Okay. All right. Well, uh, weird times call for weird acts, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
So, speaking of weird acts, let's talk about Chef Boy Bones.
yeah.
He's a rapper from Sherman Oaks, California. Um, sings what I assume is a original song. Left side, let's get it popping right now. Right side, let's get it popping right now. And then at some point during his rap, he does the thing where his eyes protrude from his head.
Yes.
Going back to that Guinness Book of World Records we talked about as a kid, something you love to flip through. I remember seeing the lady who's could make her eyes protrude further than anybody else. She
Yes.
so this is a talent that he has. He can rap and protrude his eyes at the same time. Um, he has worked very hard to hone his rapping craft as well as his eye popping craft. Um, I don't have a lot else to say about him. I'm not one of these people that like can't look at this, or it turns my stomach to see somebody protruding their eyes like that. But what do you think of Chef Boy Bones?
You know, I I thought the rapping was okay. The bit, I love the bit that he can make his eyes pop out. If he didn't have that, he wouldn't have much of anything. I'm hoping he has more than that, or if that is his bit. Now, if he ends up being like, was it Tone the Chief Rocka? If he comes out and sings the same song every week, um, then I'm kind of on board with it for a
He's
little
going
bit.
to do the B-double-O-T-Y. Is that?
B-double-O-T-Y. Yeah, if he does his B-double-O-T-Y every week and sings, left side we popping right now, right side we're popping right now. But I think we've kind of lost the shock of it. So if he comes out and does that same thing next week, we've lost the shock value.
Yeah, I don't know what we could hope to see. I, I don't want to see other things popping out for what it's worth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Howie said, "You're a baller. You're an eyeballer." Sophia said, "I've never seen anything more horrible. How was I the only one to give you an X?"
Yeah.
Uh, Eric said, "I don't do anything eyeball. Come on, man." And Simon said, "I think there's a market for this. Without X like you, we don't exist."
Yeah.
So Howie and Simon are going to give him a yes. Sophia is not no, but heck no. And Eric, again, was swayed by the audience to go ahead and put him through. Um, I have a hard time imagining how he's going to go far in the competition. Um, I can say that I appreciate seeing him once. I don't think his rapping was great. I don't think that
No.
his shtick was particularly good. It was weird, but he has a thing, right? Like he's memorable. So there's that.
Yes. So okay, so we're two through. So Eric has now done two acts, and both of them he's pretty much voted with the audience. What do you think of Eric's voting uh, skills so far?
To this point, I'm not impressed. He's like his comments are all like, well, I'm not as love or hate as the people on either side of me. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I will just do what the audience thinks I should do. Like it's pretty pretty low importance kind of voting. But um I guess he is kind of just like thrust into this like tie vote, split vote, make it or break it kind of spot, which is kind of a tough spot to be in without any practice. It'd be nice if we
Yeah.
had, some unanimous yeses or nos before he had to really put his stamp on something.
Yeah, the production could have kind of thrown him something a little bit easier. That's kind of more of a given. That
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they kind of threw him into the deep end of, hey, let's give him something controversial to to play with and see how he does.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So Extreme Dance Force and Chef Boy Bones both going through thanks to Eric, who I think at some point in his judging said like, I'm probably not going to be back here, so it doesn't matter to me if you go through.
Well, I think he either said it on the show, he may have said it on the show and tweeted it, that he put the guy through basically to torture the rest of the judges in the next round.
Yeah. He seems to have a nice relationship with Sophia, so
Yeah.
um, there you go. All right. Next act of the night. You ready to talk about Winston?
Yes, let's talk about Winston.
He is a Venezuelan magician, 21-year old. Um, and he, let's get back to my notes here. Um, Says he was a shy child, found magic. He starts his act. It's just him sitting on a stool, got his elbows on his knee and his hands, like on his head. And then all of a sudden, these white, like playing card sized cards start appearing out of nowhere, seemingly. And it's like they just keep showing up and keep showing up, and it's dozens and dozens of cards, and he drops them and more appear and more appear. He's very slick. Kind of a one note performance on this particular magic trick. But boy, he did it really well. What'd you think of Mr. Winston?
I was just, I was thinking, I think we've seen this act already this year. I was trying to look back at the guy that um, did the same trick, but with CDs and laser discs.
Yeah. It felt very much like that same trick. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Except with cards. I did kind of like the story of a little bit that he told. It was almost like you had this situation where the cards were more of a, like kept growing out of him and kept coming out of him, and now they were an extension of him. So it wasn't like he was just flashing about like the. And I'd have to go back and look at which one it was.
Was Florian. Florian
Yes,
Saint Vent. Saint
yes.
Vent.
So Florian was doing the same trick, but with CDs, DVDs, and laser discs, and basically just making them appear out of nowhere, but just doing it real flashy and quick. But Winston almost had a story. I think I enjoyed the story a little bit more than his magic because it felt like it was repetitive. And I know he can't really help it. He didn't know that Florian had already done the same trick, but just as a viewer, it felt repetitive, but with cards.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I enjoyed it as much just because of that reason, but I did kind of like the story that he told.
Yeah. I can say that Florian with his CDs, it seemed like he wasn't dropping them.
Yes.
He kept sort of repalming them, rehiding them. Whereas Winston, he really like they kept coming from I don't know where. Like
Yes.
I don't know how he got more and more cards in his palm to keep pulling out. So it was a good first performance. I would say, comparing the two, I'll take Winston over Florian on this one. Uh, but by just a razor thin margin.
Yeah, and I hope in the next round they each do something different.
Yeah. Yep. I would expect so. Okay. So next we've got a group called, well, did I talk about judges' comments on all for him? Sophia said that was incredible, fantastic, so creative. Howie said it's all in the presentation, and you are all about presentation. You looked amazed by your own performance. Eric said, I love magic, and this show has some of the best, and those people would be impressed. So the past magicians, he's saying. Simon said, I think you're born to do this. Your showmanship is off the charts. Your presentation, without any gimmicks, I can see you headlining a show in Vegas. So 4 yeses from our judges there. And that is that's Winston. All right, next act then we've got Art Acro. This is two gentlemen from Moscow who, like, their performance is interspersed with our next performance talking about his performance, right?
I believe so. It seemed like he was telling his story, and they kept flashing to these two guys doing their acrobatic tricks,
Yeah.
which I wanted to see more of these guys.
I did too. I want to see this whole performance. So they got kind of glossed over, unfortunately. A couple of things that they did show us was, one of these acro balancers is on his back with his feet raised. The other one is standing, sole of his feet to sole to sole, and they spread their legs. So the one with the shorter legs on the top is actually doing the splits. And they hold that, foot to foot uh, balancing while his legs spread. Pretty impressive move. And then a second one, the guy was doing a single handstand on top of the bottom guy's head. So just one hand on top of his head. And the guy on the bottom, he walks forward from the tower that I guess they use to get balanced up on, and then he lowers himself down into the splits. Just a real slow, slide right out into the splits while this guy's bounced up on top of his head. So it was really pretty impressive stuff. I always enjoy a good hand balance act. Two guys are better than one. Three guys are better than two. But Simon said, I thought that was world class. It was terrific. I'm assuming 4 yeses for Art Acro. Any thoughts on them?
Not much, since we didn't get to see a whole lot of them, but I hope we get to see them in judge cuts, because I was really impressed by this.
Yeah, yeah. They're very good. Yeah, I think they've got the sex appeal for the audience that appeals to. So, hand balancers from Moscow. That's Art Acro. All right, next act of the night then is Louis Shilvak, and we learned a little bit about him while we were watching Art Acro. he kept interrupting them, but he's a dancer. He is just 17 years old, if I recall, from Australia, and he comes out. He's going to dance to Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now." Um, First thing he does is he rips off those black pants and reveals some gold pants underneath. Uh, Dances across the stage, lots of jumps and spinning and splits, and he's very athletic. He does the thing where he kind of throws himself in the air, and it doesn't look like there's any possible way for him to land safe, and then he lands very gracefully and doesn't hurt himself at all. What do you think of Lewis?
I actually kind of liked Lewis. I like this dancing. And when he rips his pants off and you have the gold pants underneath, my first thought was he's just screaming, "Give me the golden buzzer."
Yeah, I suppose best case scenario, that's what he'd like. But
Yeah.
I don't know that this was golden buzzer worthy.
No, it was a golden buzzer worthy, but I did somewhat enjoy it. He used a lot of the stage. He had some very good flips and tricks and high kicks and roundhouses that he did. You could tell that he was definitely technically trained, well technically trained, classically trained. He had some good winks at the judges, so he kind of had a little personality there. I enjoyed this. I'd like to see more of him for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we've a single dancer. It's really hard for them to own the whole stage.
Yeah.
He did as well as I think any single dancer could doing the style of dance. There wasn't much for storytelling. I would say it was more just pretty, you know, just impressive dance moves. As he was finishing up, Terry said he's got flavor. Sophia said all those flips were perfect. I loved it when you took your pants off really quickly.
That's Sophia. That's a little creepy.
A little bit, a little
A
bit.
little bit. Yeah.
Howie said that was more musical theater Broadway than it was big stage $1 million act. Uh, than it was big stage $1 million act or best dancer in the world kind of performance. So Eric said your charisma and charm were infectious. I think you're a great dancer. And Simon said I really admire your tenacity. Where this goes, I'm not quite sure. So we got a no from Howie, but otherwise 3 yeses, enough to put him through to judge cuts.
Yeah, so at the very end, he and Simon talked more about dancers that have kind of inspired him, and where he's kind of gotten his um, who he's looked up to, and he mentioned Michael Demesky.
Yeah, he sure did.
Are you familiar with Michael Demesky?
Not even a little.
Okay,
Not that I'm aware of.
and Simon wasn't either. So I went out and looked a little bit up. I went out and looked up Michael Demesky, and Michael Demesky performed. Where'd I have that? He was on the. Where'd it go? I lost it. Shoot.
Oh.
Well, he was on. He was on. So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh,
He was
okay.
on the Australian version of So You Think You Can Dance, but then he also did. He appeared on the U.S. TV. He appeared on World of Dance season 2, in which he finished as runner-up. He's also been on Ellen, and then he performed with Newsy. He was on the Broadway version of Newsies.
Now I did go
So
see the live theater version of Newsies when they came through Des Moines here a couple years back.
okay, so if maybe he was with them, or
I doubt it.
this could have been before this could have been before that. So he's been around. He's done some stuff.
So Simon said, "Where do you want to go from here?" And he said, "I
Yeah.
want to be as good as the second place guy on World of Dance."
He wasn't in second place. He was just on the second season.
Oh, didn't you say he was runner
Oh yeah,
up?
no, he finished runner up. Yes, he finished runner up. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
It's interesting that you would choose number 2, buddy.
Well, maybe the number 1 wasn't the style of dance that he typically does.
Okay, all right, sure.
Yeah, it could be a different style of dance. But yes, But he was right that this is Broadway type of music. Well, Michael Demesky was on Newsies, a Broadway version of Newsies.
Yeah.
So it's kind of right up his alley. I bet if he was like what's his name from last year that wanted to sing on Broadway, if this guy wants to dance on Broadway, maybe the two of them can kind of get together and work out some sort of 2-man show on Broadway.
There you go. Yep. I'll sing, you dance, I'll sing. Yeah.
There you go.
That sounds good. All right. So that's Louis Schilbach. I don't find him particularly memorable. 3 yeses from the judges is not a resounding endorsement, but like Terry said, he's got flavor. So we'll see.
And the only thing that's really going to be memorable about him is the pants.
Gold pants.
And
absolutely.
I mean, and if you got to do something to kind of get yourself out there, and he shined the gold pants, so that's kind of going to be the memorable thing.
Okay, next act of the night. I think this is probably my favorite act of the night. Group of 4 guys. They call themselves the Bone Breakers. They are from Guinea Conakry, West Africa, originally. More recently from Atlanta. They are the contortionists, 4 contortionists, and they are awesome. Really fun to watch.
Yeah.
The first thing they did, they were kind of standing in a circle, a square, I guess, a 4-sided circle. And each of them like twists their spine around. So they're grabbing their, left knee with their right hand, their right knee with their left hand. And like a pretty, they're showing that each of them has twisting talent right out of the gate, just boom. So other notable moves, one guy has his chest on the ground, his feet up behind him. 2 guys each grab one of his legs, and like in rhythm, they move his feet to the ground. So he's doing like what I would call super splits, like more than just 180. Like they're bent beyond that, with his crotch up in the air and his toes touching on the ground either side of him. So that was kind of cool. Guy did the splits, and another one picks up his foot, and he how did I write this? He says, guy does a split, another picks up his foot, so he does the splits with just one heel on the ground. So he's like suspended in the air, just one heel on the ground, the other one is lifted up in the air. He ends up like twisting him around, and his butt's then touching the ground. His legs are straight up, and then another dancer seated in front of him, holding his arms out in front of him, while that first one then pulls his legs back until his toes touch the ground. So it's toes touching the ground, legs straight, to his butt touching the ground, and his head sticking up between his legs, and his arms pulled forward. So he's like literally twisted into a pretzel. It's just ridiculous, the things these guys are doing.
You explaining this seems like it's just as twisted as they were. So
is it making sense to you at all? I don't know. You watched it at least,
Yeah,
but
I've watched it a couple times, but these guys remind me a lot of Strauss Serpent from
yes,
Champions.
yeah.
So
Except
it's like,
like there's four of them.
except there's four of them, yes. So it's almost like Strauss put together a four-man group and said, "Hey, you all can do the same thing that I do. Let's get a group together."
Yeah,
Um,
and when you have somebody helping you twist,
yes,
sort of you pushing you to that limit more than just what you can do with gravity or with your muscles, that's it really is impressive. The very last thing they did, they even flashed a warning up on the screen, dangerous stunt, do not attempt. And
you got to tell
so,
people these things, Jay.
yeah, you guys don't rip your heads off trying to look over your shoulder. All right.
Well, it did
Uh,
look like he kind of like cracked his neck or broke his neck.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and they have the backing track where like there's a big boom or a big beat or a big crack or whatever the noise is when they do that big going into the splits or the big twisting his neck or the big whatever it is, which is good performance, right? That's what they should do. But this last one, like, he helps him turn his head like nearly a full 180 degrees from where it should be, and then he kind of helps him roll around and ends up I don't know, untwisting his neck. It was ridiculous. The whole thing is really fun to watch. If you don't like contortionists, if this kind of thing makes you uncomfortable, this is not your kind of act, because
no,
it's
no,
Strauss Serva times four. It
yes,
really is just really impressive to watch. It's hard to say that you're going to see a better contortion group than this.
agreed. And I hope they have some more for the next round because they are fun to watch. They do some really interesting types of twists and turns, and I'm hoping there's more there.
Yeah, yeah, and I think there is more there to what they have. So,
Yeah,
Howie said, "Amazing. We know that something great. We know that something great was going to happen." Eric said, "My jaw was on the table. You delivered in a huge way." Sophia said, "I thought it was super entertaining. You were so happy and energetic." Simon said, "It looked painful, but the more painful it looked, the happier you looked. Apart from your talent, your likability factor is a 10." So, and it is worth saying, like, these guys have big, infectious smiles. They're really, really fun to watch. So,
yeah.
I guess two comments on how happy they looked. They really did look like they were enjoying the heck out of themselves. Um, okay, so that's the Bone Breakers. They would have been my golden buzzer of the night.
Nice. Okay,
So
I
that's
could go with that. Yeah.
I'll go with that. I think I know who your golden buzzer would be. So it's coming up here. Serban is my guess. But we'll talk about him in a minute. First, we got to
Yeah.
talk about Jesse Kramer. He's our singer guitarist from Nashville, Tennessee. Man, he looks like he's a hard rocker. He's got his electric guitar. He's long hair. Looks like he's just gonna shred it.
Yeah.
And he sings "Bad Romance" by Lady Gaga, and it felt like he was just really holding the reins back, like he was just gonna let it explode,
Yeah.
but he never did,
I
and
know.
it just stayed mellow the whole way through. Um,
Yeah.
what did you think of Jesse Kramer?
I'm not sure if he was going for some sort of power ballad where he just kind of kept it mellow and soft and gentle. Because I was with you. I was waiting for him just to let it loose and rip it uh, and just let that guitar sing, but he never did. And um, I was a little disappointed because I felt like he was just going just to let her rip. I don't know what else to kind of put to it, but I was actually really disappointed of how mellow it was. He says he loves rock and roll, um, but we need, unless you're really doing like a very soft romantic type song with a lot of high notes and some belting. I don't know. I'm blabbering here, but if you're doing a rock and roll song, we need a rock and roll fast hard song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there is something to be said. Like, he was really restrained. It felt like
yeah,
that he had that potential to just blow it up, just
yeah,
shred it, just uh, but he kept it pulled back, which maybe makes the judges say like, "Man, this guy's got something in him. I want to see what else he's got there." But never went there. So
Yeah. Who is our ukulele player from last week?
ukulele player from last week was was it Fang E?
Yes,
Is that
Fang.
right?
I
Okay.
thought he was going to kind of do what Fang did with the ukulele.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna play something intricate, something slow, and then hit that guitar pedal and distort it out. And
Yeah.
yeah, didn't happen. We got to wait until his next performance if that's gonna
I
happen.
guess so. But then I might be Huey Lewis and just tell him he's too darn loud.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Um, so Simon said, I really, really enjoyed your audition. Sophia said, I think it was fantastic. I loved it. But why that song? And he said, I wanted to take a risk with something more current. Howie said, I love rock and roll. I don't know if that risk was worth it. It was entertaining and it was interesting. And then I got bored. And Eric said, I think the gravel tone in your voice is great. I look forward to hearing you sing a rock and roll song.
Yeah.
Um, so they're seeing that potential there, and he didn't do anything wrong with his song. It was very much there. It just wasn't great.
Yeah, and he also said he moved to Nashville because he loves rock and roll, and I didn't think Nashville was known for their rock and roll.
Yeah, a little more country music
Yes,
in the Nashville, right?
I mean it is. There is a lot of music there. There's a lot of producers and whatnot. And I guess he was looking for that, but you're right. It's more country music than rock and roll. So I guess you would have to go to what, Ohio, for your Rock and
That's
Roll
where the
Hall of Fame.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. Yeah, Country
Yeah.
Music Hall of Fame's in Nashville, if I
Yes.
recall.
Yeah.
Um, but does Nashville have the Rock and Roll Marathon every year? Is that am I remembering that correctly?
I'm not for sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um, well, there you go. That's Jesse Kramer from Nashville, Tennessee. You don't happen to know Jesse already from Tennessee, do you?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. I'm going to keep
Diff-
asking as these Tennessee guys come
yeah.
up. So,
Nashville's different time zone, so we're at least a time zone away.
oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
A whole different world over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, next act of the night. This is your golden buzzer. Correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, Serban Koika from Romania. Um, Eric's got a good feeling about this guy. Uh,
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
sing an original song for us.
He said at the very beginning before he even started and said, I think this is going to be good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I guess Eric might have gotten the wool pulled over his eyes. Serban sings a song called Conga Bonga, or I think that's the name of it.
It's an
Um,
original, wasn't it?
it's an original.
Yes.
I've never heard another person sing this song ever.
So when you sing an original, can someone else really say that you forgot the words?
Well, it certainly was original. Uh, yeah, I got the lyrics down here, so
Okay.
we'll recite them back to you. See
Okay.
if you can keep up. Everybody, conga bonga, conga bonga, conga conga. Around the world, conga bonga. You've got the flow, conga bonga. Let love shine and love forever. Love and joy, we come together. You've got chocolate on your lips. You've got chocolate on your cheeks. You've got chocolate in your bag. You've got chocolate in your sweat. Archipelago, where the dolphins go. Archipelago and the hummingbird. La 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 la. Diddly diddly diddly. Conga 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 conga. Um, there you go. That is Conga Bonga by Serban. Uh, Cody L. Patterson's Golden Buzzer of the Night. Tell me more about Serban.
So, okay. So I would give this guy, yes, I would give this guy the golden buzzer. And the only way I would give this guy the golden buzzer is if he was able to get Simon to wear bright colored shirts.
All right. Okay. Yeah, he wants to spread the love around the world, man. Yep.
Conga bonga.
Conga bonga. Simon said, I think that's the worst song we've ever had. Howie said, I hit the buzzer because you forgot the words. And he said, I didn't forget the words. Sophia said, I love you. You're adorable, but I can't. And Eric said, I didn't buzz. This is one of my favorite things I've seen. But it's not great, man. I like your suit and I like your smile. So four no's for Serban.
Yeah, I just don't know how Howie can say that he forgot the words because it's his song. He knows what the words are.
Well, it really did feel like after the archipelago dolphins, archipelago hummingbird, that it just sort of fell off a cliff, and there wasn't really more words after that point.
That's when you thought it fell off the cliff. I thought he did an immediate cliff dive from the beginning.
uh, all right, yeah, okay. Well, that was Servan. He got four no's. We're gonna get another act here. We got Josefina Monasterio from Venezuela. She is 73 years young, and she comes out, and she's a bodybuilder, and she looks fantastic.
Yes.
Says she started bodybuilding at the age of 59, and is uh, she is ripped. Like she's in amazing shape, no doubt. Um, and the song "Pump It" plays by Black Eyed Peas, and she flexes, and then she points at the audience and says "Pow," and then she
Pow.
flexes and she points at the audience and says
Pow.
"Pow," and then she flexes and she points at the audience and says "Pow." Um, Terry came to join her on stage to maybe bail her out from not having more of an act than flexing and pointing and saying "Pow." And he, of course, comes out shirtless, and he's also quite ripped, as it turns out. He it feels like he's just got the one trick where he flexes his pecs and makes him jump.
Well, that is his signature.
He keeps going back to that.
That's the signature. I mean, you got to keep going back to the well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. Um, yeah. Okay. So Simon said, "You are amazing. I just don't quite know what the act is." Sophia said, "Your talent is the dedication." Uh, Eric said, "I think what you've done is inspire people." And Howie said, "I'm going to call my trainer and tell them I want the body of a 73-year-old woman."
Yeah.
Um, she's got personality in spades, but man, like we said, there's no there for Josefina. She is
No.
um, she failed to deliver on on the act. Like she was there, she was all prepared, but forgot to actually bring a performance with her. It was just her. Like there
Okay.
there was no act.
Right. So I agree. I agree with you. I did think she did a very good job at entertaining everybody. Everyone in the audience loved it. It just felt like one of these just like halftime acts where someone comes out and just gets the crowd all excited, or a pre-act before a comedian comes on the board and they're trying to get everyone on the stage and they're trying to get everyone excited. That's kind of what it felt like. But yes, there was no act, there was no performance, but she did entertain everyone. Everyone had a fantastic time. I think Simon said when you come back next year, you need to do something. And maybe that something is you lift, what is it, the Gemini balls or the Apollo balls or
Okay, all right.
whatever, they're the big stones, and put them up, and then you start singing. Maybe it's something of that nature.
Yeah, she could go with a feat of strength. I was going to ask you, what could
Yeah.
she do to make this a an act that deserves to go through?
Yeah, I think a
Uh,
feat of strength of some sort where she pulls a car or lifts something heavy or gets uh wow, I've already forgotten his name. Terry involved. Um
you don't
Something
want
of
to
that
go
nature.
the other route where it's something very artistic, where she paints a picture or plays a flute or sings a song or something that really doesn't uh, seem to dovetail nicely with being a bodybuilder.
I mean, I guess if you want to do the trick where you start out bodybuilding and then you surprise the audience by going into something else, I guess you could do that. I would say go with the bodybuilding. Use your strengths, uh, and something something of that nature. No pun intended. Use your strengths,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do something of that nature that really wows the audience. And maybe it's involving Terry or one of the judges. Maybe you put all the judges on a platform and you then bench press them. I don't know, something of that nature.
Yeah, and feats of strength are interesting, and they're good to watch. They're fun to watch. Um, Feats of strength are different than bodybuilding. Bodybuilding doesn't necessarily equate to superhuman strength. You
Okay.
look at the world's strongest man competitors, and they are not chiseled like she is. Um, but they've got that brute strength. But yeah, something that demonstrates that she is strong and that she is capable would be fun to watch. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what her right path to making this a really great act is, but just flexing and saying "pow" wasn't it.
Yeah, if I'm correct, she is actually a doctor.
Oh, really?
Yes, she's a
Oh, I
doctor,
didn't.
and I was getting ready to look that up. I, we follow her on Twitter now, and if I saw correctly, she's some sort of like motivational speaker, yeah, event speaker, fitness expert, nutrition coach, life coach. So she is a doctor, um, and so that's kind of her occupation is fitness, life, something along those lines.
Yeah,
So just a
yeah.
little
Well,
little background on Dr. Josefina.
yeah, all right. Dr. Josefina was again memorable, and that counts
Yes.
for something.
Yep.
So let's play the rank the eliminated acts game.
Okay.
We've got Forrest Knee, our snapper. We've got Serban, who I'm pretty sure you're going to put as number one, singing Conga Bonga, and Josefina Monasterio flexing her muscles. What do you think of those three? Forrest, Serban, and Josefina.
I think I'm gonna go Josefina number one. Sorry to disappoint you on that, but I think I'm gonna go Josefina number one. I'm gonna go to Forrest number two. And the only way Serban gets a bump in the rankings is if he can get Simon to wear a colored shirt.
So Serpent is number three of three. Oh man, I had it way
Just
wrong.
yeah, sorry. And maybe my rankings are backwards to yours. Maybe you're saying three is the best, and I'm saying three is the
Uh,
worst.
no,
So
no.
okay, okay,
All right, Serban, I think is the third of three. He was not good, and he was not funny. He was just big and smiley. So,
yeah.
yeah, I'll put him number three. Um, oh boy, like of the two, the one that I want to see again is probably actually Forrest. So I'll put Forrest number one, Josefina number two, and Serban number three. That's my ranking of the eliminated acts.
Yeah, of the three, you're right. Forrest did have the best talent, but I felt Josefina was the most entertaining.
All right.
So
Okay. All right. Last act of the night is a gentleman named Alan Silva. He's an aerialist. He's from Brazil, from a circus family. And we learn during his intro that his brother is Alfredo from Deadly Games. And we got an Alfredo appearance in the audience. Um, Alan is a little person, or person of short stature is an acceptable term to use. Um, and he's told because of his stature, growing up, he should be a clown because of his size, but he wants to be an aerialist. So he's got the silks hanging from the top of the stage, and he performs to the song "Alive" by Sia. And he does a pretty classic routine, aerialist routine. He's rolling down the silks, and he's has them wrapped around his ankles, and he does the splits, and he runs and like flies in a circle, and he um, does it where he's holding the silks with just I think with just one hand, and he like planks horizontal to the ground. He's very strong. Um, he does. I guess the other thing worth saying, like he's flying around in the circle, and like as he gets to the apex, like over the judges' table, he unrolls a little bit further to make it look like he's going to fly off. But of course, he's all under control the whole time. So um, at the end of his performance, the kids come out and hug him, and he just looks. Uh, I don't know, an all-around pretty impressive act. It was fun to watch. What are your thoughts on Alan?
yeah, this was a lot of fun to watch. It was a great way to end the show. We have that Deadly Games tie-in, so that adds a little bit more excitement to it. So we know he's got the pedigree, the background to be a wonderful entertainer. He says he grew up in a circus family, so he's got that background. I think being an aerialist is a great start for this. I think he can do more as the season moves along, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Um, it was very nice. The way that he did the aerialist way he moved along in the silks was very smooth. His flexibility was impressive. His balance was impressive. A lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. I, it, I have absolutely no problem putting him through. I would probably want to put him through myself. Howie said, "You're talented and entertaining, but it's thrilling and scary and graceful. Every human emotion can be elicited." Eric said, "That last maneuver, when it looked like you were going to land on this desk, it made my hair stand up and tears come to my eyes." Sophia said, "That was the performance of a giant." And Simon said, "You're a natural performer. And it was the best feeling when we meet people like you. You are, without question, the best act we've seen all day long." So 4 judges give him a yes, and he's going to be going through to judge cuts. Um, uh, no golden buzzer from the judges tonight. Uh, I could certainly imagine him being a golden buzzer kind of act. Uh, who would your golden buzzer be?
I think he's definitely a candidate for the Golden Buzzer. The whole night again was just average. Shakira was a good would be a good candidate for a Golden Buzzer, and that's probably about it. The rest of them, everything else was just okay, maybe a little bit above average. There was no particular act that really stuck out to me except for Shakira and maybe Alan.
Yeah, I said earlier, I think Bone Breakers would be my golden buzzer of the night.
Mhm.
I thought, they're a very unique talent. That is something that I cannot and will never be able to do. I can't even imagine doing those things, and the fact that it's 4 of them just really elevates it to that next really wonderful level. So, they're my golden buzzer of the night. But yeah, I think. Uh, all things considered, this was not the highest level of talent we've seen in an audition, but certainly plenty of entertainment happening there in the episode.
Yeah, and with Alan as well. I was trying to remember was Alfredo was in our Deadly Game, or sorry, Alfredo was in our Brant Steele competition,
I believe
correct?
so. Yes.
Did
Yeah.
he win it? I was trying to remember
Man, I don't know.
because there was him. I know that's going way back. I just was curious if you remember off the top of your head
It may have
because
been, or was it the one that was going blind?
yeah, it may have been him. It might have been him because we picked we had I picked him and the other guy from was it Duo Transcend? The
Yes.
guy from Duo Transcend, and it may have been the guy from Duo Transcend that won our Brant Steele. So if you guys are curious about who won the Brant Steele, go back and listen to it. We did it a while back, so go listen to that. It was a 3-part series.
May not
Please
be our
listen.
most listened to episode, but
No, but if you're curious who won our Brant Steele, go back. It's a 3-part series. You're more than welcome to download all 3 parts and listen.
yes, absolutely, free of charge
Yeah.
to anybody who wants to. You're welcome to it. So, all right, well, there you go. That was the most recent round of auditions. We've got, like we said, next week auditions again with nobody in the audience. So that's going to be weird. And we've got boy, what else is there to say? It sounds like Eric's going to be back for next week's show, and then probably back to Heidi filling in her normal chair.
Yeah. What did you think of Howie FaceTiming Heidi during the show?
That was a sweet little moment.
Okay.
Heidi looked very under the weather, not
Yes.
feeling well. Um, but they expressed that they were missing her and love her, and that it's hard to not be doing what she wants to do, and to instead be sick with food poisoning.
Yes.
I don't know that I've ever been sick with food poisoning, but I've been very sick, and it sucks. Like I don't wish that on anybody. So
Yeah. She looked like she was well under the weather, and it like you say, it's a kind of a sweet gesture of Howie calling and just checking in, but it also felt a little awkward with her laying in bed, looking really sick on national television.
Yeah, I'd imagine that if she weren't okay with it, she would say, "No, I'm not okay with it," and they would
Yes.
honor that request. But
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah, yeah, it seemed more of a sweet moment than anything else. So, um, all right, well, there you go. Let's circle back next week, and we'll keep it snappy, right?
Yeah. So next week is 4th of July week for us here. Independence Day week for us here in the United States. That's on Saturday for us. But I will be traveling the latter half of next week. So we're going to look at recording on Wednesday night instead of Thursday night. So if you want to send us anything from Audition 6, get those to us by Wednesday. The comments and questions have been a little light this year, but if you feel like you want to reach out and ask us anything about auditions 1 through 6, we'd be more than happy to entertain those. Also comment, rate, review on iTunes. We'd appreciate that. We're on Spotify as well. So yeah, just reach out to us, AGTcast on Facebook, agtcast@gmail.com, AGT Time on Twitter, and then Cody L. Patterson and at One Man Bander. Um,
Absolutely.
yep.
All right. Well, let's put a bow on it, and we will see you. I guess Wednesday night, Cody.
Yep. I hope so.
All
Should
right.
be fun.
Bye.
Bye.